Are you ready to forge your path with a career in law enforcement in Roanoke County? Find out what to expect in the hiring process. Get a look inside the Roanoke County Criminal Justice Academy and learn about some of the unique benefits only offered by our department. Building the best officers starts with finding the best recruits. Meet Officer Brian Lee.
My job overall is what I do is I go out, I recruit people, whether that's at colleges, military bases. We also spend a little time in schools, specifically at high schools, to kind of just give them an idea of what we do. But also, as far as the hiring process, we let them know what to expect, so that way they can kind of protect themselves in those youth years. Outside of that, I also oversee our internship program. So we do 2 interns a semester. With that, they get a lot of hands-on experience, a lot of ride-alongs. They actually spend a lot of time with our in-service training. So getting to do those hands-on experiences. A lot of times you're in school, you see those experiences, you read about those experiences, you see YouTube, but you don't actually get to do hands-on. And that's where we allow that opportunity when they train with us to get that hands-on experience. And those ride-alongs, I always tell everybody the best way to get an understanding of what we do is to do a ride-along, because you're getting that first-hand experience. You're in that passenger seat when they're going 80 to 90 miles per hour to a priority 1 call, or they're doing a traffic stop, or they're dealing with that domestic, or a fight in progress. So our interns really get that true first-hand experience, and I think it's a great opportunity for any college student.
If you have a high school diploma and are at least 21 years old, you may be eligible to apply online at roanokecountyva.gov/jobs by searching listings for recruit. The selection process begins with a written entrance exam and physical agility course.
Roanoke County follows law fit standards, with specific requirements available online. A practice course may be offered by the recruiter upon request.
Look at that time. Oh, that is amazing. That first day, you're going to do our written test, our physical agility, and then we have what's called a psych assessment. Once you get those done for that day, as long as you complete those successfully, from there you will then have an actual interview, a panel interview with our department. After that panel interview, then you will go into what's called the background. That is basically exactly how it sounds. Your paperwork, all your documents will go to a background investigator. They will do a lengthy report on that. Once they get that back to us and they think that that's a qualified candidate, we will then schedule a polygraph, and that's what everybody refers to as the lie detector test, right? So after you complete that polygraph successfully, from there what would happen is you'd have a chief's interview. The chief's interview, you will get either a conditional, or unfortunately they would ask you, no thank you, we can't offer employment at this time. And after you have completed that, then you do what's called medical. So kind of like if you think about sports when you're in school, right? You have those physicals. You go and kind of get cleared. Of course, it's a little more in depth than actual sports physicals, but they check your hearing, vision, things like that. Make sure you're in decent health, and from there, that's basically it.
Commander Brook runs the Roanoke County Criminal Justice Academy. It's a private academy in partnership with the City of Roanoke and several other local uniform divisions.
Our academy for basic recruits, it's 27 weeks long. We are literally preparing the recruits mentally and physically for the road once they graduate the academy. So it starts at the very basics. So the first couple weeks, they're learning drill. We're doing a lot of PT to make sure their physical fitness is up to standard, and we work towards that to kind of get a base level. They get to meet the honor guard, who inspect them to make sure they are looking presentable, making sure they look respectful, and making sure their uniforms are pressed and everything's taken care of on that, and making sure their boots are polished, and that all comes along with the appearance. So when they're on the road, that should translate to them when they're out in public. The beginning of the academy starts off with the basic stuff like basic law and a lot of classroom material, and then it gradually builds up to where you're doing practicals out in the field and the fun stuff per se as it goes along.
District 1 foot pursuit, white male.
So today we're doing foot pursuits. So this is one of those first couple practicals they get to do, that they get to execute a traffic stop. Somebody will flee from that traffic stop, that they'll have to chase after them. So we're going to see how their physical fitness is right now. They have to go through a couple obstacles. They'll go over top of a wall at the end, and then they'll have to apprehend a suspect. That suspect may be compliant, or they may have to handle what situation presents itself to them.
What I like about it, it prepares you. I always ask the question when I talk to people is, have you ever been a police officer? And their response is no. And I said, exactly. We're not trying to break you down and make you into a new person. Our job is to build you up to be a police officer because we know what it takes to be a police officer. We put a lot of emphasis on our academy staff, and as far as the input that goes into our recruits, it's a lot of time that goes into that. I can say that I'm very proud to say that we partner with Roanoke City, and I like the fact that we come together as a team and we get things accomplished and we make it work.
The Academy typically holds 2 sessions per year, with instructors ensuring objectives are met through weekly tests. Following the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services training standards, recruits must pass a final exam with a score of 70% or higher.
This is definitely a shock to your system if you've not been a part of a military background or anything like that. It's very strict, whether it's your uniform, whether it's your diet, physical fitness, mentally, physically. You're going to have a little bit of yelling going on. A lot of things are going at you at once, but that's what it's like on the road at times. So we're preparing you for that. To get prepared, truly work on the basic stuff. So make sure you're running, get your cardio up, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that.
If you're ready to forge your path in uniform, there's no better place than Roanoke County. Our community is a mix of suburban and rural neighborhoods in a beautiful mountain setting with unmatched quality of life.
The one thing that I can say that I love about our agency is we make our own schedule. A lot of the times I feel like some people don't put enough emphasis on that. When I say we make our own schedule, it's exactly how it sounds. We go into an Excel spreadsheet and the officers pick what days they want to work. The only catch to that is you have to work 4 weekend days. Well, most departments you're going to work 2 full weekends regardless. It's usually every other weekend. So having that opportunity, that flexibility is perfect for the home family life, gives you a great balance. Most people, you get to a certain age, they decide they want to start a family, have children, and sometimes having that child care can be difficult, especially if you have a spouse that also works shift work. So being able to make that your own schedule is a huge plus for the department. One thing I also say is that our department is very driven on as far as career advancement and education. So our chief is really big to make sure that, hey, if there's something that you're interested in, we send you to those trainings to get that experience, to get that knowledge, to better yourself. And while it obviously pays back to the agency, what it's also doing is just building your resume, which is very important, right? Because we all love, let's be honest, we all love our 9-to-5s or our jobs, whatever it may be, but we also want to make sure we invest in ourselves. And being able to have that career advancement opportunity, it allows us for that. So always a plus.
Our administration is really connected. We're really big on teamwork, working with the community, working with other agencies. So that's a big priority. We generally care about the recruits that are coming through here. This job isn't for everybody, and this is the place for them to figure that out. A lot of good people have attempted to get through this process, and they haven't made it. And they're good people, they have fantastic jobs after this, but we want to make sure you're prepared mentally and physically for that. And I'll tell you, the standards we hold the recruits to, their discipline, their respect, professionalism, and truly caring about the community and the coworkers that they're going to be working with, I think is big for us. I've absolutely loved this career. And obviously, as time goes on, the reason why I started doing it and then the reason why you continue to do it, sometimes that changes. But I genuinely care about the community and that we serve. I care about the officers that are coming through the academy. I care about my coworkers that are on patrol now and being there for them, being that mentor, role model, and just making sure they succeed and achieve the goals they want to do and protect our community the best way we can and provide them the best service that we can.
To find out how you can answer the call to serve, visit roanokecountyva.gov/police or talk to a recruiter by calling 540-315-5428.
And being the recruiter of the agency as well as an instructor, I love actually getting them through the process. The process can take up to a couple months. It's very daunting, it's frustrating because you answer 10 million questions, then you finally get hired, you have a smile on your face, and then it kind of starts all over again because then you go through the academy, and as soon as you get in the academy, you're like, oh my gosh, this is tough. This is daunting, right? And then I show up and I say, hey, remember why you did this? Remember where you started from? And seeing them progress slowly, whether that's if they started out very low on the spectrum for physical fitness and at the end they're crushing it, or whether, they questioned their confidence and now they're going up on scenarios and they're crushing it, and they're confident in their answers, they're making arrests like they should. you know, they're effecting a traffic stop and they have no questions about what paperwork needs to be produced and things like that. It's always good to see that, you know, and checking on them when I check on them and ask them like, hey, how's it going? They say, you know what, I'm actually proud of myself. I shot a 95 on my qualification. It's like, well, that's good, you know, and you can tell that they're obviously happy to be here. And it obviously makes me happy as a recruiter.